Hello, this is Lucifera, Morningstar.
And this is Entropy. Hello again. Today we're going to be talking about lies, talking about a number of lies that Christians have been caught in. Before you Christians justify what you do, that is, if you choose to lie. Of course, not all of you are lying to us, and not all of you are lying to, public. But before you choose to do that, many of you might believe that the end justifies the means. They don't. And your Bible itself, of course, as you know, speaks against lying.
Not only are they lying, but they are being very, very hypocritical. An example is they come on and curse us and calling us evil and calling us all kinds of horrible names.
How can you, those of you who do it, of course not every Christian that comes on our channel does it. I would say the majority of them do. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
The majority of the people who come on our channels who are Christians come on to condemn us. If you would just simply talk to us, in a dignified adult manner, then we would respond in kind. But what I find is how hypocritical it is for you to start condemning us simply because of our screen name. Okay, I'm not going to make this, we're not going to make this personal. I'm not going to make this personal. So this is about generally what we have found online that are just outright lies that are being propagated by Christians. And don't think for one second that the fact that we point this out somehow makes us full of some sort of hatred and anger. We don't have any hate and anger towards Christians any more than you do towards sinners. We don't have hate and anger towards you individually. We're talking about what you're doing as a group, and we are trying desperately to get through to you and see how you're being lied to. And as a response, you condemn us as haters. This video is not going to be primarily about Bible verses. I would like to start this with just one simple Bible verse, since it's obvious that lying is against your religion. Let's use one Bible verse to quote from that one.
The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in men who are truthful.
As though we're any surprise to you that that your religion is against lying, why don't you read your own Bible? Of course, there is a commandment, the 10th commandment, which is against lying as well. And remember, when you judge us as to us pointing these things out to you, remember that even your Christ pointed out to the Pharisees that they were hypocrites. And he did it angrily. He didn't do it with loving kindness and patience and all this stuff that you condemn us for not doing it that way. Folks, we are doing the right thing whether you believe it or not. What we are doing is the right thing. We don't always do it the right way, and we're not always nice about it, and Lord knows both of us have lost our temper with you and said things that we probably would like to take back from time to time. But that's human nature. You push us, and then you get us angry. Here again, this is not about us. So let's start with this.
You may have seen this picture. It is a complete fabrication.
This picture, although I'm not sure exactly who originally did this picture, it has been used multiple times by multiple Christians showing some sort of end day sort of condemnation that God has towards the United States. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to say with this picture, but one thing is for sure, that this picture has been proven to be photoshopped. Here is the original picture. This is the original picture. Do you see the Statue of Liberty there? No, because it was photoshopped in. And when Christians use this picture, they are lying. They are using lying sources in order to promote their agenda, which in this case is we are in the end times. So, what are we supposed to think, us who are, let's just call us non-believers for the sake of any other term, what are us folks who are non-believers supposed to think of Christians when we see you blatantly lying like this? Even if you're not aware that this picture has been proven to be false, you should be. Either you haven't done your research well enough because you're too lazy, or you're blatantly lying. Either way, what you're doing is wrong. Now we'd like to talk about just this general myth that Christians are being persecuted around the world. Now, it's not a complete lie. Of course Christians are being persecuted. Christians are persecuted, Muslims are persecuted, Buddhists are persecuted. Any religious group's got to be persecuted by another group of people. It happens. The extent to which Christians say this persecution is happening, that is the lie. And it is a lie. It's a blatant lie. Because again, they're not doing their research, or if they are doing their research, they're blatantly lying.
We came across this article on the internet, and the title is Fake Arrests of Ohio Ministers Designed to Sell Christian Persecution Myth.
Apparently a group of Christian ministers in Ohio thought it would be neat if they pretended to be arrested and then played it off as though they were actually being arrested. Reading from the article, which we will give you a link here, because there is no actual footage of Christians being persecuted in this country, because no Christians are actually being persecuted in this country, a group of Ohio ministers had to stage some arrest, employing actual cops to help them. Why, if Christians are so persecuted, do they have to stage arrest in order to make it look as though they are being persecuted? People who are being persecuted don't have to stage arrest. They have actual recordings of the arrest, as, of course, this author states here. The reason that the 3 ministers that were arrested, staged arrest, claim that they did this was, to quote from the article, to make people more aware of what it takes for pastors to defend the Christian faith beyond preaching on Sundays. Let's see. Okay. Pastors in this country, they are so persecuted. You know that, Lucy, that they are so persecuted that they have to leave their $1 million homes and get in their Lexus or their BMW or their Mercedes and drive down to the church once a week to work once a week by talking in front of a bunch of people about a bunch of BS. Is that persecution?
Yes.
That is? That's persecution. Yeah, that's persecution, all right. These poor pastors of your flocks. How do they make it from one day to the other? I don't know. I wish I had a job making hundreds of $1,000s a year just to stand and work for 1 hour a week, standing in front of a bunch of gullible sheep telling them some nonsense out of a book that was written 2,000 years ago. What about you, Lucy? How would you like to have a job like that?
No comment there. This is an opinion piece, but she makes a very good point. The name of the article is American Christians cannot claim persecution. Understanding that it is reprehensible how many American Christians have recently claimed that they are being persecuted, not for proclaiming a faith in Jesus Christ, but for supporting causes and issues that Jesus never said a word on. Specifically, some Christians are claiming that their religious freedom is being infringed, and they're facing persecution because they aren't able to vocally support oppression towards homosexuals without facing opposition. Not opposition from the government. No one is threatening to remove the tax exemption of every church who urges its congregation to vote against gay marriage, but opposition from the world, the same world that Jesus said Christians were not to not be focused on, since they are not part of it.
That brings up a good point, briefly, here also, that the Bible is quite clear that Christians should be focused on their religion and their churches, and not focused on people like Lucy and I, who are not part of your church. Okay? We're not part of your church. So focus on something else. Your own Bible says so. I'm not going to get the verse right now, but we'll be doing another video sometime in the future about judgment in general, and how you Christians are judgmental towards us, of course, towards everyone. Here in this article, she's rightly pointing out that the only reason why Christians are claiming they're being persecuted in this particular case is because they're not allowed to persecute another group of people. In this case, the LGBT community. I mean, come on, folks. No one is keeping you from going out and saying you hate homosexuals. No one's going out there keeping you from saying that they're all going to die and go to hell. No one's keeping you from your First Amendment right to say that. They're only keeping you from doing it right there in front of them in order to instigate some sort of fight. Now, this is the real issue that I wanted to get to here at the end. I'm going to demonstrate the falsehood of the numbers of so-called Christian martyrs that has been circulating for the past several years. Now, all these articles that we quote are going to be down in the description box. So don't ask us, to cite our sources. We're citing them. They're down in the description box. All right. There is a claim. The Christians are claiming that the amount of Christian martyrs over the past 10 years has been 100,000 Christian martyrs a year. Now, let's look at this claim. Here, quoting from this article, which quotes the Vatican spokesman Archbishop Savino Maria Tomasi in a radio address to the United Nations Human Rights Council. She says, credible research has reached the shocking conclusion that every year an estimate of more than 100,000 Christians are killed because of some relation to their faith. Where does this number come from? Well, again, I'll be quoting from the article. The number comes originally from the Center for the Study of Global Christianity at Gordon Cornell Theological Seminary in the U.S. state of Massachusetts, which published such a figure each year in its status of global mission. Before I go on, I neglected to give the title of the article. The title of the article is, "Are There Really 100,000 New Christian Martyrs Every Year?" Again, from the article, its researchers, that is the researchers from this study of global Christianity, started by estimating the number of Christians who died as martyrs between 2000 and 2010, about 1 million by their reckoning, and divide that number by 10, get the annual number of 100,000. But how do they reach that figure of 1 million? And here again is where the blatant lies come in. This Christian group reached this number by using the number of Christians who have been dying in the civil war in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa. More than 4 million are estimated to have been killed in that war between 2000 and 2010. CSCG counts 900,000 of them, or 20%, as martyrs. So when you hear, quoting from the article, so when you hear that 100,000 Christians are dying for their faith, you need to keep in mind that the vast majority, 90,000, are people who were killed in the DR Congo. This means we can say right away that the internet rumors of Muslims being behind the killing of 100,000 Christian martyrs are nonsense. The DRC is a Christian country. In the Civil War, Christians were killing Christians. This is nothing short of outrageous. This is outrageous. This is an outrageous lie. It would be like me saying that the Civil War was a war against Christians. The American Civil War was a war against Christians. Christians died in the American Civil War, didn't they? A whole bunch of them. Christians killing Christians, folks. That is a blatant lie to say that these people were martyred. I could go on, but you can read this article for yourself. The justification that these Christians make for inflating these numbers, it's just outrageous. The article ends by a Christian who inflated these numbers. He says, and ultimately I think making the point that Christians are persecuted and killed is more important than being precise about the death toll. Wow. Wow. It's not a matter of being precise, folks. It's a matter of you blatantly lying to us. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being lied to. I never liked being lied to. And people who purport to be those who carry the torch of truth and justice and all this other stuff that they pretend is part of their religion shouldn't be lying. Certainly not on the scale that they're lying. Now, to end it, let's talk about the blatant Christian propaganda that Barack Obama is the Antichrist and some of the so-called proof of this.
This is the memorial service on 9/11. Obama reads from a passage in the Bible, and the Christians are claiming that Obama is saying he's God, and this is absolutely a lie.
But let's get it straight. Christians aren't claiming that Obama's not reading out of the Bible. But the funny thing is that they say he's reading out of the Bible, but then they turn around and say that he's claiming to be God. It's just ridiculous. Here's the audio of what Obama says briefly. And remember, Obama is obviously reading out of the Bible, Psalm 43.
He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariot in fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
I'm going to ask a really simple question. Have you no shame, Christians, anymore? Do you have no shame at all for what you do? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Whether Obama's the quote-unquote Antichrist or not, certainly him reading out of the Bible does not prove that. You are really... I gotta... honestly, let's assume that there was a Jesus Christ. Let's assume that everything you Christians say about him is true. He would be ashamed of most of you people. Not all of you. There are good people out there who happen to be Christian. However, most that I come in contact with anymore, especially on the internet, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
There are many more lies like this. I mean, people taking videos, taking pieces of videos and putting it together and, using it for their propaganda.
It's just scratching the surface. That's all we're doing today. The truth is, if we really want to get into this, we could make hours of long videos of how much propaganda is coming out of the Christian church nowadays. But for now, we're going to conclude this this video. Look for other videos to come soon. We're getting back into the swing of doing these together again. So look for new videos all the time. Make sure to for our subs to look and like our videos would be nice. I get so many dislikes on my videos. She doesn't get them as much as I do, but it would be nice if a few people who do like it would click like from time to time. So anyway, this is Entropy signing off.
And this is Lucifera signing off.
Good evening, folks.